Shanik, once again, thank you so much for joining in. I'm really excited to be speaking to you, after almost 7 to 8 months since our last conversation, when you were just setting up Armanino in Ahmedabad, India, and you guys are focused on opening another office in Ahmedabad and another office in Hyderabad. Would you want to tell us a little bit about your role right now at Armanino?
Armanino is one of the top 20 firms in the accounting in the North America. And although we say accounting firms technically, but in terms of the spectrum of services, it has several services to offer. In terms of my role, I started with Armanino effective 1/1 this year, 2024. So it's just like I'm completing my 11th month today. I mean, by end of this month. So my role is to establish the firm in India and expand the services among various BUs. So to create the resources for all the BUs to make sure that we get the help from India resources. As you know, we have great talent available in India. So my role is to establish all the BUs for in India to support to create the support services for our US clients and US partners.
Amazing. So when you say BU, it's business units.
Business units, correct.
That's exciting. Okay, so Shanik, it would be great to understand, tell us about Armanino's India's journey. What has been your journey, building Armanino in India in the last 11 months? And what has happened since then?
Um, I would say nothing less than exciting, and it's kind of my second innings in establishing a firm in India. But I would like to say that whatever I did and learned in my 10 years in my past career, I achieved almost everything, probably more than 10 years in 1 year or less than 1 year. And that is not possible without a stellar support from the leadership in the US, having a great team. I'm blessed to have a great team in India right now, and obviously you have to put a lot of hard work. Without it goes without saying. So with the combination of this great triangle, I think we could achieve it. And it is, I personally feel it is a team achievement. It is not a personal achievement. Although I may be at the forefront of the team, but I do give almost every single percentage of credit to my team, because without them, I'm nothing. One part you can say is building the physical infrastructure, where you have to get the name of the company, establish the legal entity, getting the bank account, and getting the office space, like a physical infrastructure, like getting the IT up and running and all that. And the second is the intellectual infrastructure, where you actually hire the people or build a team. So both take, and I was doing parallelly. Like, it was not something like after I have my office, then I'll start recruiting and all that. So I tell you like a funny story. Like, the first employee that onboarded, I onboarded her. That was my TA associate. I onboarded her in Starbucks because I did not have the space. So at the same time, it sometimes creates challenges. You go through a lot of emotional stress as well, because sometimes you're almost sure that okay, it's going to work out, but you're working with so many new people. You work with so many work streams, so that sometimes creates challenges to deal with. Multiple personalities and multiple people, because whether people will trust you or not, because you're coming up with a new name which is not known in India at all. So those challenges, but fortunately with the great support of our US leadership, and fortunately by hiring a great team at the forefront, that helped me a lot to build this great team. As of now, we are more than 130 people in total, so which is, I believe, nothing short of amazing.
Absolutely amazing. That's great. So, when we're talking about a team of 130 professionals in your team, right? What has been your journey building the team?
Yeah.
So, did you work with a recruiter? Did you hire in-house? Did you meet all of them?
At Armanino, put a lot of efforts in. We are very careful, and we are very kind of strategic about hiring the right people, because as you know, like there are a lot of talent available in India, but finding the right talent, finding the best people for our team, that's the crucial stage. So our success ratio is 10%. Like if we interview, let's say 10 people, we'll be lucky if we get one right person as hired. So initially it was all by me, because there was no talent acquisition people or talent acquisition team that I had. And we also have multiple rounds. So initially, until almost July, even the US team was heavily involved in, so they also helped me in getting the uh, interview process. But it is a journey, but I think it's well, it's worth the journey, because when you know that, okay, it goes through multiple rounds, because I think very few companies have multiple 4 or 5 rounds of interviews, because the reason is not that we don't trust people, but we want to make sure that we get the best of best and only. So as you know, like one of the mottos of our company is that we try to provide the best and only services to our clients, and for that we need to have the best and only talent available in the market. So we try to hire the cream of the cream, the best of the best, and that will take extra effort. So um, you try to hire the right talent, and you, of course, you take the recruiter's help as well, but not as much as you would think, because I would say 90% of our recruitment is done through our in-house recruitment team. So that's a great success story.
That's amazing. And Shreya, what are the kinds of people that you hired in terms of skill sets? And what are they 1 to 2 years of experience or mid or senior?
Let me give you a little brief background about Armano's India organization structure. It's like mainly we are servicing 3 business units: tax, trust, and consulting. And for each business unit, we have a delivery lead, which will be responsible for each delivery lead. And within that, we have the teams underneath them, where each like tax would have multiple teams underneath. One would be like privately held businesses or private client advisors and so on. Consulting, we might have 10 teams, and each team will have the team leaders. So we have the directors or senior directors at the top, then directors or managers within the team leads, and they will be structured with senior supervisor or staff level. But the biggest difference we have is in terms of expectations. We have the same expectations as we have from the US team. So let's say if we are looking for a senior, so if a senior is able or capable to do a review of a return in the US, we expect the same thing from our Indian talent as well. So we do not compromise on the title. So sometimes we may have to go and hire a supervisor from the market and give them the senior title, because our expectations are a little bit higher than the average market standards. So we want to make sure that we do not compromise on the quality. So our expectations and the titles are tying with the US. So it's a one firm. It's just an extra office, like a separate office in India, a different location. That's the only difference. So that's why right now in year one, we are focused on experienced hire, because we want to make sure that we build the team on the top first. Once we are ready for that, we will be next round would be to go for fresh hires, like maybe fresh chartered accountants or fresh CPAs who do not have any prior experience. Right now, we are mainly hiring 2 to 3 years of experience. Even at associate level, we are hiring 2 to 3 years of experience. So that's the biggest difference, because other firms generally who are like senior firms, like who have been in the market for 2 3 years, they can hire probably at associate level also, like inexperienced people. But right now we are focused on experienced people. Probably 2025 is the right year we may start hiring like inexperienced hires as well.
I just read across the social media that Armanino is going to open new offices in Ahmedabad and Hyderabad, right? So why is Armanino opening new offices in India?
The reason is we never expected that we would get so great response from the US and India. So number one, people in India, the candidates in India trusted us like anything. And second, the partners or the leadership in the US, they helped us grow like anything. So that is the combined factor why we grow exponentially. So our original target was just about 80 people. We are already 130. Probably will not be surprised if we touch close to 200 by the end of the year. So it is exponential growth that we saw. It is a kind of a both-sided win. Like the team in India did a great job. and the team, the leadership team in the US did a great job, both sides. Uh, so because we initially thought that we'll be 80 by the end of the year, so we just went for 100 seat office in Ahmedabad, and our growth plans are very exponential now. So to support those growth plans, we are looking for, and this is like more or less 3 years structure. So we are going for 50 seat office, another 50 seat office in Ahmedabad. So that will make 150 seat capacity in Ahmedabad, and another 150 plus seat capacity in Hyderabad, which will help us to grow up to 300. Again, this is we think it's 3 year plans, but I'm pretty sure that we'll be fulfilling this much earlier than that. So that's the reason that, and we want to tap the best of the best talent. So we do not want to restrict that to just one region. And obviously, if, as you know, like if we want to attract the best talent, we have to go out in the market and to try to get the best talent wherever it is available.
Okay, so Hyderabad is another city where there's a lot of talent working in the GCC
Yes.
space. So that's how you guys zero down on Hyderabad.
That's one reason, and another reason is the spectrum of the services that we provide is much wider compared to the other traditional accounting firms. So to give you a little hint of that, like in consulting itself, we have 26 practice area, so which also include technology consulting. Now it is obvious that Hyderabad has much better resources in technology consulting space because of the lot of IT sector there. So we want to make sure that we get the best of the best talent. So we want to make sure that we are present there, and we would like to have a great infrastructure to make sure that talent is ready to come and work with us.
So Shrenik, when I'm talking about Ahmedabad, right? You go to Ahmedabad and there are so many offshoring outsourcing space, right? It's very competitive in a way. So do you think it's still a lucrative place to start if somebody wants to start an offshoring outsourcing office there?
Absolutely, as I said, like if you're, so I can give you one simple, we even in trust, we are offering so many services where probably hardly any of the other offshoring providers would be providing those kind of services. And even in tax, even in consulting, there are people who not even have heard of these names, like Workday. We have ERP implementation services or software services. There are so many areas of services. If you bring new services, new challenging work to the candidates, there's a lot more opportunity. It's like the beginning, I would say. It's not even saturation, it's a beginning. Because most of the people, when they have offshoring in mind, they always think about accounting and some traditional thing. And I guarantee you by 2020 2030, accounting, basic accounting or tax preparation, they'll be gone. I guarantee you on that, because AI is running so fast that most likely these basic services will be gone. You have to work on technical skills, and you have to tap the market where the technical people are there. Like right now, CPA is becoming my baseline. I'm looking for CFE and CIA in audit and trust people. I want people who are specializing in internal audit or forensic and fraud advisory and things like that. So valuation services and things, CFO advisory. So there are so many avenues where we can create the talent and divert this talent to the right direction. So it's an ocean.
What were the challenges you faced while building this? There'll be a lot of uh, folks, who are working elsewhere who would want to build a team for another CPA firm or a larger firm entering India. So, what would you tell them? What do you need to do this?
Um, so I think there are three factors. One is at the US level, what you need to do. So you have to build the trust in them. They need to trust you. Um, a half-hearted decision or the why should be clear, I would say. If the why is just to cut the cost and hire the people in India just to increase the leverage and all that, that that may not be sustainable in the long run. Because if you're trying to transfer the low level job, or kind of the jobs which the US team is not happily ready to work on, if you want to
Yeah.
just ship that job to India, that is not a long term strategy. So the why should be very clear. That our why is very, very clear, that as I mentioned earlier, like our talent in India or US is the same level. That's our goal. We want to build a team and a career path for each and every employee, whether it is in US or in India. That's very clear. Second is you need to have a great team and you need to invest in them. So sometimes if you outsource them everything, that okay, I hire this agency and they will recruit me for me, that's not going to work, because every firm is unique, every business unit is unique. Within the business unit, every practice area is unique, so you have to understand what are the expectations of each practice area, and each partner would have a different expectation, each practice area leader would have a different expectation. To understand them, to meet them, try to exceed them, those are the efforts that you have to put as a leader. And the third is your team, like, because somebody's investing in you, somebody's trusting you, so you have to give it back in terms of the career path. You have to make sure that they trust you and they are there for you, and you are them when they are not there. So it's very important that you support them in every possible way, and they can see the long term relationship with the firm and as a leader with you. That these are the three important areas that you need to work upon. And of course there is a legal infrastructure and all those things, that where you need to take some good help of the legal professionals, and who can support you without any big hassles.
Now talking about Amani, recently you guys were in again been spoken about for private equity investment, right? So
Yep.
you've been earlier with Citron, okay, which have received millions in PA money. What would be the impact of private equity investment in terms of India? How is it going to increase more jobs or opportunities for folks in India?
Let me answer what's the role of private equity in accounting industry. So I think that's almost inevitable. If any smaller accounting firms, if they want to survive, either they have to get merged in at some point, or they have to take help of private equity resources. So in the long run, let's say right now, let's say if we have 5,000 firms in the US,
Okay.
after 10 years there'll be very few left with the consolidation that is happening in the US. So it's inevitable, but how you do it is important, because retaining the control, because accounting firm is a service based industry. It's not something, a manufacturing unit where you just leave it to the machines and you forget about it. It's a personal connect that is important with the clients, with the employees. So retaining the control, retaining the say in the business, that's very important. And that's what Armanino did. So it's a minority investment. So it is going to retain the control, retain the ownership, overall, uh, the maximum ownership within the old team. So that's very important, because it's all about personal connect, a personal relationship with the clients and your employees. Second thing about India, so whenever it comes to expansion or private equity, there are two or three major factors. One is mergers and acquisitions. One is technology or AI or transformation and all that. And third is offshoring. So India is going to be a very key player in making Armanino successful. So along with the US, so it's a win-win for both, because it helps us to grow exponentially with the help of the extra funds that we get. At the same time, it helps the US to build a stronger team in the US, that they can focus on the clients. So it's a win-win situation. It's not that we are kind of stealing the jobs from the US. It's like we are helping them to focus on the clients, to build it a better team for them, and build it a better work product for them.
Done. So, Shrenik, thanks a ton for your time. I mean, this was a great perspective, and it's exciting to see what you guys are building at Armanino India. And all the best.